All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Oceana and Florida's Ocean Steward Spotlight today. Thank you so much for joining. I am so excited about today's Ocean Steward Spotlight. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. We're so honored to have Sharon Levine with us today. And Sharon Levine is a special education teacher turned environmental justice advocate, and she successfully stopped the construction of a plastics manufacturing plant alongside the Mississippi River in St. James Parish, Louisiana. She is amazing. She organized grassroots opposition to this project, educated community members, organized peaceful protests to defend her community. And this plant obviously would have generated a great deal of pollution in this community, a community that was already polluted. So we admire her and thank her for her work. Sharon, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Now we want to dive right in to getting to know you. Can you tell our viewers why and how you became an environmental advocate?
Well, I did not have any plans to become an environmental activist. I was satisfied teaching school. That was something I loved. And then I started going to meetings, to community meetings, and I heard about the industry, and I didn't know it was that bad until I heard the members of that organization speaking out. And when they told us about all the chemicals that's being emitted in the air and all the people that had cancer and were dying, some of them were sick and some of them were dying rapidly. And I still didn't associate it with the chemicals. I just thought the air was just toxic, but not knowing it came from industry. So I learned a lot for 2.5 years sitting in the meetings and listening to what the members were saying. And that was the beginning of my thinking about stopping industry from coming in here. I was still teaching school at the time. And then we heard about Wanwan, a chemical plant from China, wanted to come on the east bank of St. James Parish. And many of us went to parish council meetings and expressed ourselves that we didn't want this industry here. So from there, Formosa wanted to come in also. And that's the spark that transformed me from being a teacher to becoming an activist, but not knowing at that time that that was called an activist. I thought it was just a concern for my community. I had no intentions on becoming an activist. I just wanted to live in a community with clean air and drink clean water and plant gardens again. That's what I wanted. And I didn't want people to continue dying of cancer. So that's when, in October of 2018, I had a meeting at my home to ask people to let's fight. Because the organization that I was in, they didn't want to fight. They said, whenever the governor approved industry, that's it. It's a done deal. And it said the parish council members will follow what the governor said. And I didn't buy that. Just something in me just didn't think that was a good answer to give to us. And it just changed me from what I was. So I went on teaching. Then the summer of 2019, I had to make up my mind if I was going to retire or continue teaching. So in October of 2019, that's when I finally decided to go on and retire. Not knowing I would become a full activist, just knowing that I'm trying to save our lives in the community. That's a short version of it.
This is an amazing story, and you and I have a lot in common because I'm a former teacher as well. I taught public school here for 15 years and became very concerned about plastic pollution. So that's why, I started wanting to protect the ocean and working for Oceana. So now I'm fighting plastic pollution as well. So we have a lot in common. And that's why I have so much respect for teachers. I know that, teachers work so hard. And so you make good activists, right?
I guess so.
Teachers are tough cookies. All right. So most of the time, your story is so important because a lot of times when people think about plastic pollution, they see it on the ground, they see it in oceans. And I think it's important for people to think about plastic production when they think about plastic pollution. They often don't think about that. So what would you like viewers to know and understand about the production of plastic and why it's important to reduce it at the source?
I think that it should be reduced because when my grandparents were living, they didn't have to have all this plastic. They really survived. They survived on what they had. For example, the milk that comes in those plastic jugs, that the plastic is made with cancer-causing chemicals. So you're still getting the chemicals in your body. Let's go back to glass jugs. You don't have to have plastics for everything. Plastic utensils, plastic throwaway bags. You don't have to have all of that. Everything don't have to be plastic. So I think we should go and start reducing some of this plastic because it's too much. It's too much plastic. And also, when I was teaching school, I had to take my 2 students to a regular class. And we went to an environmental science class. And I learned a whole lot in that class, especially when he showed the videos of the fish. When they cut the fish open, you see all the plastic and food inside the fish. And I love fish, but I don't want a fish and have to open it up and there's plastic inside of it. So I think it's too much plastic in this world. I really do. I think we
Yeah, a
can
lot
cut
of
down on
people, younger generations don't know of a time where we didn't have so much plastic, right?
it. That's right.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of there isn't a lot of choice when people go to stores, and we need more choice. Sometimes people, when they want to reduce plastic, it's hard to. So, we need to think about that. We need to think about the communities that we're affecting, like yours, that have these plastic production plants in their communities. So you are a former teacher. You have had success in stopping plastics manufacturing plants, which is so admirable. But sometimes I hear, in my work and my personal life, and maybe you have too, some people say you can't win that campaign. It's too difficult. Money always wins. There's no use in fighting it. You may as well give up. Have you heard that? And what has that made you think?
When I was going to the meetings, they told me that. They told all of us that in the meeting, that you can't fight industry. And that's why they didn't try to fight it, because industry have money and we don't have money. So it takes money to fight these billion-dollar industries. But I feel like you can fight anything if you put your mind to it. If you put your mind to it, you can fight it. Mhm.
And there's power in numbers. And I remember when you and I were talking earlier, you said, when someone tells me something can't be won, it just makes me want to fight harder.
It made me want to fight harder. That was true. And it made me angry because I was not an activist, but they were out there talking, and I thought they would go out there and fight it. But they didn't. So that left me having to go and fight it. And I didn't want to fight it because I wasn't a person that speak in public. And they did. So I thought they would try to fight it. And it angered me because they didn't want to fight it. So when I went to California, my cousin told me that you can do it. I told her, not me. I'm not a public speaker. And she fussed at me. And I came back to Louisiana with her words in my mind. And that was a big push in my life to stand up there and speak about something we didn't want in our community. So I guess as time went on, I began to speak. But it wasn't me speaking, it was God speaking, because he's the one that transformed me into what I'm doing today. So you can't just get out there and just start fighting an industry. You have to have God behind you. God have to be in that driver's seat to drive you. So trust me, I wouldn't tell anyone out there to go out there and try to fight these plants unless they talk to God first. And that's what I did. That's why I can fight it.
I relate to this so much because I used to hate public speaking as well. But
Really?
yes, I feel like, and people are shocked, but I feel like if you believe in something enough that you can speak about it.
They speak about it. That's right. And
Yeah.
to me, that was like a life and death situation because if this plant would be built 2 miles from my home, next and 1 mile from a church and a school. So they claim that they are in a population without people. This is 1 mile from the plant, and it's another family that lives a half a mile, not even quite a half a mile from where this plant want to be built. So the people in this industry, they're misleading the people that's outside of this parish. The people, or they might say, "Oh, I don't know why they don't want that plant there. It's going to be far from people." That is not so. These industries lie to the people, and the people don't know. But we are here to tell the truth. It's going to be right next to a church and a public school. And this school is young children, first through third grade. So the chemicals will, I think it would mess with their brain, with their thinking skills. Because I've seen so many children come to the high school in special ed with some kind of learning disability. So look all the years you've been living in this filth and breathing this dirty air, drinking this dirty water. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised the numbers increased. And right there, that to me, that was a red flag when I noticed why we have so many children in special ed. So I think that's a part of it too.
It's very horrible to think about it, but I hope that, when people hear your story and see this, maybe people who are unaware make that connection, that it's not just, if you don't throw plastic on the ground, then plastic isn't a problem. It's a problem from the time that we produce it, right?
That's right, it is.
So where do things stand in your community now in your fight to protect it? Can you share your latest news about Foremost of Plastics?
Well, we, the Army Corps of Engineer, we asking them to provoke the permit. They haven't done it yet, so we wrote a letter to Jamie Pinkham, and he ordered the Army Corps of Engineer to do an EIS, Environmental Impact Statement, and that's going to take about a year and a half or two. So I am very hopeful that this plan is not coming, even more hopeful, because why would you want to sit around for a year and a half to wait until this EIS is done? So I still say it's not coming. I really do. And I believe that in my heart that it's not coming.
Well, I saw your good news on your Facebook page, Rise St. James. And will you keep us, is that the best way to keep everybody updated on the latest news and how to help? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes,
okay, we'll make sure that everybody follows your page, Rise St. James, so that they know how to help you and can follow your news. How does your family feel about all of this environmental work and your Goldman Environmental Award?
Well, first of all, my family, they told me I don't cook anymore. Because I used to cook, especially on weekends, and invite them over and whatever. And for holidays, I slacked off from cooking. So they were surprised. They have to do the cooking sometimes. And I could see in their faces that they are worried. They don't tell me they're worried, but I can see it. They worry about me when I don't worry about me. So I'm be careful because of them. And some of my friends are worried also because they say this is a multi-billion-dollar industry that's trying to come in here, and they haven't stopped yet, so they're still trying. So they pray for me. I have a few of them that prays for me, and they let me know they're praying for me, and they want me to be careful. They want me to take a break sometime, but I can't take a break. Formosa is not gone yet. When Formosa is gone, then I'm gonna take a big break. I'm gonna take a vacation. So I know they worry about me, but God have me, so I'm not worried.
Good. And it's such important work that you're doing. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And I know that your family is grateful and proud of you as well, and your community.
When I received the Goldman Award, they were very excited. Even I was excited because I didn't know there was such an award out there. All that was news to me. This whole movement is news to me because there's a lot of things that I've learned from doing this type of work. And I had no idea that there was such an award out there, such a prestigious award. And I didn't understand why they gave it to me. All other people around here doing activist work, I didn't know why they chose me. I couldn't understand that. And then when the man called me, I thought it was a prank. I really did, because I didn't know why he chose me. But I was honored and I was glad, I accept my award, and I would like to go to California to have the ceremony. I would like that. Yeah.
I hope you're able to as well. And
Yeah.
it's important that the word gets out and your story gets out, because you will be an inspiration to so many people, and so many people that think that they can't fight pollution and work for the environment. So if people are just getting into this and they don't know what they can do to start protecting the environment, fighting plastic pollution, what is your advice to people that are just getting into, their activism?
First of all, I would do research. Let them research the industry that's trying to come into their neighborhood. Find out about it and what kind of effects it's going to have on that community. First of all, I want them to seek God like I did, and then find information, and then stand up and fight. Call a meeting, community meeting. Start off with 1 or 2 people. Then after that you add on. People start coming. Some not going to listen to you. They're going to think you're crazy. They're going to think you should stop this. But there will be a few who will listen, and they will join forces with you. Because for me, there was a few of us that said, let's start our own organization, because the other organization, they didn't want to fight industry. So this lady name was Geraldine Mayho. She passed away. She was a member of RISE. She's one of the first ones that was in my den for that very first meeting. Prior to that, she kept saying, Levine, we have to fight. We have to get our own organization. You need to do it, Levine. I said, not me, Geraldine. And she kept on telling me that. Every time I bring her home from the other meeting, she kept telling me that. And look, today, never dream I'll be doing this. And I know she's in heaven looking down, and so glad we still fighting. And she fought to the end. She was living in a little town called Burden Lane, and they are so polluted over there. They're more polluted over there than over here where I live. And they are sandwiched in by 2 industries, New Star and Marathon. They won't even try to help those people. They just pollute them. So Geraldine lived in Birdland and she passed away. And this other man named Keith Hunter, he fought too, and he died during this fight. 2 people in Birdland that was with this fight died.
This, social injustice, this environmental injustice is so important to bring to light to people, because, they're not putting these petrochemical factories in rich neighborhoods and wealthy neighborhoods.
They are not. Because years ago, they wanted to put this other industry on the East Bank where the rich people live, or the wealthy people live. And the parish council voted it down. They're not coming in my neighborhood, so they voted it down. When they say they want to put it in the 5th district where I live, they voted for it. That's why it's so hard for us, because we have to fight so hard, because our own public officials voted for this industry. So it makes the industry think that we just being ugly, being mean to keep them from coming in. But we looking at our lives. If they come in here, we're not going to live. We're not going to be able to breathe the air. They're going to emit 800 tons of greenhouse gas per year. So, and so many other chemicals like ethylene oxide, that's cancer causing. Benzene, they dump that in the river in our drinking water. That's cancer causing. All of us around here probably have some form of cancer inside of our bodies. Because, and then they got formaldehyde. They have a whole list of chemicals that I read what Formosa is going to bring here. So they don't care about the people. All they care about is the profit. They want to make profit off of human lives. And as long as I'm here, no one is going to do that to my people anymore. what we have left here, we want to keep it and we want to survive. All we asking for is to breathe clean air and drink clean water and go back to making a garden again. I don't think that's too much to ask. I really don't.
So we want to understand that plastic pollution, it's not just what you see on the ground. It's not just what you see in the oceans. This is affecting communities that are suffering.
Yes.
And you know, we need to fight against this industry and help these communities.
Yes, we need to. Mhm.
So there's a lot of you know, there's a lot of change that happens within the environmental community. You know, it's nice to see environmental organizations speak more about, you know, social justice issues, environmental justice, environmental racism. How would you like to see the environmental movement kind of grow, change, find new direction, maybe new approaches? How should the environmental conservation community evolve?
Oh boy, put people lives over industry. That's what they should do. And I would say continue to speak up, to fight for your community and fight for your own lives, and get involved. Get your church involved. Get the pastors involved. I can't get too many pastors to, to get involved. I'm trying. I'm going to still try. I'm thinking maybe because of COVID, I it wasn't meeting in person. So I'm hoping after COVID is gone and this Delta variant is gone, I want to reach out to the pastors again. And hopefully they can talk to their flock and explain to them that this is a life and death situation. And I want the schools to educate the children on environmental science, is what I went to the class with, or environmental justice. Put that in the curriculum and teach it to the children. Maybe they might want to become an environmentalist when they get older. If they start off young studying it and reading about it, they might want to save their own community or other people's communities. So education is the first thing. And even the ministers, we need to educate them also.
I completely agree. That's so important. If we start young and teach kids how to take care of their planet and understand their planet,
That's right.
and how it's affecting us, then you know, we could get a lot more accomplished.
Yes, I think so.
So our time is coming a little bit short. Can you tell us a little bit more about your community? How is your community now? Are they inspired by your latest news? Do they feel hope?
The ones that are following us and listening to us, yes, they are. I got a few phone calls, and some of them thanked me. They put it on Facebook, and some of them are happy because some of them that understand what's going on, they are glad. And some of my church members congratulated me and said they're watching what I'm doing. And some of the older ones say they can't come out there and march with us, but they're home praying for us. And they told us, to keep it up, to keep up the good work.
Good. You must be kind of a local celebrity there now.
That's what the people say. I don't say that, no, but that's what they say. But I'm just an ordinary person. That's all I want to be.
And everyone should realize they can be just like you if they believe in it and work hard enough.
Well, my grandson, he's 9 years old, and he is interested. His mama told him, your mama don't babysit anymore. He told her, that's because she is trying to save our lives. I said,
I love that.
Me too. At 9 years old, but he was 6 then, but now he's 9, and he told that to me. I said, that's so sweet. So I went on a little action in New Orleans, and he came with me because he couldn't go to school that week because someone in his classroom tested positive. So he stayed home for a whole week. So he stayed with me. His mama would bring him in the morning, and she would go to work. So on that day, we went to New Orleans, and he is interested. He's all into it. And somebody asked him why we were out there, and he said because we fight in the bank. The bank wanna want to fund these industries. It was something to that effect. He answered the lady that asked him. And I was surprised. I thought he was going to say, I don't know. But he didn't say that. He gave her an answer. So I thought that was nice. So he might be the one. And I hope so.
I'm sure they will be very inspired by your life and your work. And, you know, we all are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody has a lesson to learn from you. And I'm so thankful that you joined us today for Ocean Steward Spotlight. Now, we talked, I said, you know, do you have connections with the ocean? You said, not really. But I said, you're indirectly affecting the ocean with your work, because plastic production affects the environment. It affects our water, our air, the climate.
That's right. And you know, someone dumped some nurdles in the river going toward New Orleans, and no one took responsibility for it. And I don't think they even cleaned it up. They had so many millions little pellets, you know, little pellets.
Yeah.
And the fish want to eat it. So we can't fish in that water. I don't know. I just feel so bad because they're just killing our seafood. And I wish someone in authority would do something about it. And I'm hopeful maybe President Biden will. He said he would, you know, in his campaign. That's one of his campaign speeches. He want to help Cancer Alley. So here we are.
We're working on it. We're working really hard on it.
Us too. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I know we're going to put up a slide here to let everybody know where they can go and donate to Rise St. James. And we also want to make sure that everybody goes to Rise St. James Facebook page and follows your account. Is there anything else that you want people to know who are watching about Rise St. James and how to help you, how to follow you, how to support you?
Tell them to come and help us whenever we do an action. If they're in Louisiana and we do a march or something, tell them to get in contact with us and they can join with us whenever we have an action. And tell them to spread the word. And if anyone in their families or someone know President Biden, get the word out to President Biden. Tell him to come to St. James. Tell him to come meet Rise St. James and all the citizens around here.
I hope that will happen. I hope to see that. Please share the news with us if that happens.
I sure will. I sure will.
I'm going to be hoping for you. Well, thank you so much, Sharon. I really appreciate you joining. It was a pleasure and an honor to speak with you and take the time to tell us your story. And we're going to try to share in as many places that we can, far and wide. And good luck with everything that you're doing, and love to your community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you.
Take care. Stay